Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something that, well, every single driver has to deal with, but I think we rarely prepare for it properly. We talk about visibility in all its extremes. It's so easy to just think your reflexes are enough.
Right.
But when you're up against blinding sun or serious heat or even just pitch black night, you really need a proactive strategy, not a reactive one.
That's absolutely the right way to frame it. The research you sent over, it treats safe driving as a complete toolkit, not just a skill.
A toolkit, I like that.
Yeah, because whether it's, aggressive glare turning the road into a mirror or that deep darkness where you lose all your peripheral vision, the core problem is the same.
Your visibility just plummets.
It plummets and your reaction time gets sluggish. It has to.
So our mission today is pretty straightforward. We're going to break down the essential strategies, the gear you really need, and the maintenance that'll help you conquer these risks.
Yep. 3 core areas.
Glare, heat, and night. We're giving you the shortcut to maintaining control no matter what's happening outside your car. Okay, so let's start with the one that feels the most, immediate glare.
That sudden, painful hazard.
Yeah, that moment. The sun is just perfectly lined up with the road and your entire view is just white light. But what I found so fascinating in the notes was that it's not just about the sun's direct beam. It's about how reflections get amplified by, well, flaws inside your own car.
That is such a critical distinction. The glare, it gets compounded. You've got reflections off the road, off the hoods of other cars, even your own dashboard.
Right.
But here's the major takeaway from the research. The dirt, the dust, and especially the smudges and streaks on your windshield, they don't just block your view.
They make it worse.
They intensify the glare because all those little particles, they scatter the light aggressively. It just makes the blindness so much worse.
Wow, so glare isn't just an external problem, it's an internal one that we're making worse with poor maintenance. Okay, immediate fixes. Let's start with the absolute #1 piece of gear that was recommended for this. Polarized sunglasses.
They are the gold standard, period.
Yeah.
Because unlike regular dark lenses, which just, cut down the amount of light,
Right, they dim everything.
polarized lenses specifically filter out the horizontal light waves, and those are the waves that cause glare coming off flat surfaces like a road or a puddle.
So it's a targeted fix.
It is. It improves clarity, reduces eye strain, and of course, we're talking about 100% UV protection. That's just non-negotiable.
And, before you even spend a dime on new gear, there are the basics built right into the car.
The sun visor.
Use your sun visor. And I think people forget this. Most of them can swing to the side.
Oh, that side glare is a killer, especially on an afternoon commute. You see people squinting and tilting their heads.
And that brings us right back to the windshield.
It all comes back to the windshield.
Cleaning the glass, inside and out, is just vital. And worn-out wipers. They leave streaks that just create a perfect pattern for that light to scatter.
You're basically guaranteeing that when that low sun hits, you're going to be blinded. It's just making your equipment fail.
I also thought the part about internal reflection management was really interesting. It seems like such a small thing.
Like shiny things on the dash.
Yeah, getting rid of shiny objects or even getting a matte dashboard cover. I never would have thought of that as a serious hazard.
But it's a huge blind spot. That little glint of light from a phone case or something, it bounces right into your line of sight. But, beyond gear, the adjustments to your driving are key.
When you're driving into that blinding light.
You have to slow down, period.
So speed and distance become everything.
Absolutely. Reduce your speed to buy yourself more time to react, and you have to increase your following distance a lot.
Because you can't see the brake lights ahead of you clearly.
You can't. So you need that extra space for the delay that the glare causes in your own reaction. And, tactically, use your headlights.
Even in broad daylight.
Especially then. It doesn't help you see, but it makes your car pop. It helps you stand out to other drivers who are struggling with the exact same sun you are. So we've covered light. But now, let's shift to another ambient condition. High temperatures, summer driving.
Right. This introduces a totally different set of hazards.
Yeah.
It's not just about visibility anymore.
No, now we're talking about vehicle strain, system failures, and driver fatigue. This is where we need that deep maintenance dive.
The hot car checklist. I think most people assume heat just affects the engine temperature, but the materials pointed out a really critical kind of non-obvious risk with tires.
This was the most surprising thing for me, too. In the cold, everyone worries about underinflation. That's what we're taught.
Yeah, your tire pressure light comes on.
Right. And the sources stress that in extreme heat, the air inside your tires expands, and this can actually lead to overinflation.
Overinflation, so too much pressure.
Exactly. And when that happens, it reduces the tire's contact patch with the road. You get less traction.
And it makes it more likely to blow out.
Much more susceptible to a sudden blowout.
So you need to check your pressure regularly, but when the tires are cold,
right,
before you've been driving.
That's the key. If you check them when they're hot, you'll get an artificially high reading. The takeaway is that heat is just incredibly stressful for rubber and for air pressure stability. So routine checks are a must.
And it's not just the tires. High temps just accelerate wear and tear on everything.
Everything. You have to be so vigilant about your fluids.
Coolant, oil, even washer fluid. The material said they evaporate so much faster in the heat.
They do. And if your coolant level drops, you are really risking a major engine overheat, stranded on the side of the road in the middle of summer.
Not a good situation.
And you have to physically inspect your belts and hoses. They're made of rubber and plastics that they get brittle in the heat. They crack. And that could lead to a sudden failure of your whole cooling system.
And the battery, too.
Oh, heat is actually tougher on a battery than cold is. It causes internal corrosion, the fluid evaporates, and the failure often doesn't even happen until after the summer strain is over.
On the driver's side of things, the recommendations are really about fighting fatigue.
Simple stuff. Stay hydrated. Keep water in the car.
And I thought the AC tip was smart. It feels counterintuitive.
To roll the windows down first.
Yeah, vent all that super hot air out of the car for a minute, then turn on the AC.
It just cools the cabin down more efficiently and puts less immediate strain on the whole system.
And of course, we have to mention the most crucial warning.
It's always worth repeating. Never, ever leave pets or children in a parked car. Not even for a minute.
The temperature just skyrockets.
It can rise by 20 degrees Fahrenheit in just 10 minutes. The car literally becomes a greenhouse. It's an immediate life-threatening danger.
Okay, now let's make that full jump to the opposite extreme. Mastering the dark. Night driving flips the challenge completely. It's not too much light, it's not enough light, mixed with these intense, blinding points of light, like oncoming headlights.
And this is where your strategic vision has to take over, because your eyes just react differently at night. When an oncoming car is coming at you, there's a really simple technique to avoid getting blinded.
Don't look at the lights.
Do not look directly at the lights.
So, where should you look? What's the focal point?
You want to focus your gaze on the white line, or the right edge of the road, just as the vehicle passes.
So you're using your peripheral vision.
You are, and it keeps that intense light out of your central vision. It prevents you from, just temporarily wiping out all the light-sensitive rod cells in your eyes, which you absolutely need for night vision.
And while you're managing the light outside, you need to manage the light inside. Why is dimming the dashboard so important?
Because that internal light is competing with your forward vision. If your dash is lit up like a Christmas tree, your pupils actually shrink.
Which reduces your ability to see things out on the road.
Exactly. Low contrast objects like a deer on the shoulder just disappear, dim them way down, and use the night setting on your rearview mirror. It's just a little flip, but it cuts the glare from cars behind you so dramatically.
Okay, now the hard part. The really hard part of night driving. Judging distance and speed. We lose all those daytime cues. Texture, shadow, color.
All gone.
So what are the kind of techniques we can use to make reliable judgments in the dark?
You have to rely entirely on light perception and context. So for distance, you're looking at the size and brightness of headlights or taillights.
Bigger and brighter means closer.
Generally, yes. But what people miss is using stationary reference points.
Like what, for example?
Road signs. Guardrails, those little reflective lane markers. You need to watch how quickly the reflections off those fixed objects change as a car approaches.
Okay.
If a sign suddenly flashes brightly in their headlights and then vanishes, they're moving fast relative to that sign. It's about triangulating.
That makes a lot of sense. But speed. That's where so many night accidents happen.
Yeah.
Misjudging how fast an oncoming car is really traveling.
To judge speed, you have to watch the relative motion of the lights against something fixed. So pick a telephone pole, a mailbox, a parked car on the side of the road.
Okay.
And then you track how quickly that other vehicle's lights move past that specific reference point. If they zip past it almost instantly, that car is moving fast.
You can also use the lane markers.
The dashed lines. You
Right.
know roughly how far apart those are. If the car ahead is passing, 3 or 4 of those in the blink of an eye, they are flying.
So because all of this is harder at night, the response has to be
Slow down.
reduce your speed and increase your following distance, even more than during the day.
Way more. You just have to allow for those longer reaction times. And, drive defensively. Use your high beams whenever it's safe. No oncoming traffic.
Right, for that extra visibility.
It gives you crucial extra yards to spot an animal or debris on the road. And just be extra vigilant. Nighttime requires your maximum focus.
All right, let's use our last section to do a real deep dive on the gear and some of the specific features the research highlighted. We already touched on sunglasses, but let's go back to them. What are the best tints for driving safety?
The materials are really clear on this. Gray or brown tints are ideal
Why those two specifically?
because they give you the most natural color balance. They cut the overall brightness, but they don't distort the color of a traffic light or a warning sign, which is obviously critical.
So you want to avoid those really dark mirrored lenses.
For sure. They can actually make it harder to see when you go in and out of shadows.
The sources even got specific, and I want to highlight one, the Serengeti Aviator, which uses something called photochromic lenses. What is that?
Photochromic lenses are the ones that automatically adjust their tint based on how much UV light they're exposed to.
So they get darker in the sun and lighter in the shade.
Exactly. For a driver, that is a game changer. Think about driving into a canyon or in and out of tunnels. The lenses just do the work for you. You don't have to swap glasses.
That's incredible. Okay, let's move to a part of the car that's fun, but apparently introduces some surprising safety issues. Sunroofs.
Yeah, I was surprised to see these singled out too.
What are the primary dangers we might not be thinking about?
Well, the main risks are ejection and then heat and UV exposure. In a really bad accident, like a rollover, an open sunroof is another potential exit point.
Which is why the #1 rule is always.
Always wear your seatbelt. That mitigates the risk. But even when it's closed, that tempered glass can still shatter in an impact.
And what about heat? We just spent a whole section on managing heat.
Sunroofs are a big contributor. They let in a ton of heat and UV rays, even if they're tinted. The advice is to use the built-in sunshade all the time, or even get a dedicated UV blocking film put on it.
And of course, watch for leaks.
Right, damaged seals can lead to all sorts of interior problems.
Okay, finally, let's talk about an accessory that feels a little old school, driving gloves.
A bit of a throwback, yeah.
But why are they still recommended, especially when we're talking about these high-risk conditions?
It's purely functional. Driving gloves give you a much better grip and control over the wheel.
Especially in the heat, I imagine, if your hands get sweaty.
Exactly. Or even just on a long drive when fatigue starts to set in. It's all about maintaining that constant, precise connection to the steering wheel.
And what about materials? What should you look for?
Soft leather, like lambskin or deerskin, is great for durability and that tactile feel. But the key thing is breathability.
So you want perforations, holes in the leather.
Perforated leather, maybe some mesh. Something to keep your hands cool and prevent the very sweat they're supposed to help you manage. It's all about that fine, precise control, which matters most when you need it most. So, to kind of wrap this all up, maximizing your safety on the road is really a job of preparation. It's not just about reaction.
Yeah, that seems to be the theme.
We talked about using the right gear, like polarized lenses and just having pristine glass to manage glare. We hit on the critical maintenance for heat checking your tires, checking your fluids.
And then for the dark, those strategic visual tricks, like watching the light against fixed objects.
It all comes down to being proactive.
This deep dive really shows that maximizing control isn't just about having great reflexes. It's about choosing the right gear and keeping your vehicle's integrity solid so you can counter these risks before they even become a crisis.
Which, it raises a really important question for today. In a world with more and more automated vehicle features, things that promise to handle the driving for us,
Right.
How much attention should we still be placing on these simple manual safety checks? On the specialized gear we use every day? Because at the end of the day, the greatest safety feature in any car is still
A prepared, engaged driver.
a prepared, fully engaged driver.
Think about that the next time you decide not to clean the inside of your windshield or you leave your good sunglasses at home. Apply these insights and please, stay safe out there.
Please like, subscribe, and get notified.